are you?
Very good.
I'm fine.
You're doing well. You picked a good spot.
Yeah, I tried to find a place that the internet works well and I have a nice spot on the background.
Nice. Would you like to tell everyone where you are right now?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jonas from Brazil. I'm in the middle of a coffee farm today.
Nice. And a little bit like, so usually what we ask at the beginning is what you do and how you do it and such. And actually, a lot of people as we put this up, actually knew who you were and what you do in the coffee business. But for anyone who doesn't know you, what is your profession in coffee?
Okay. I'm a coffee agronomist, so I just work with coffee. I do not work with other crops like corn or everything like that. Um, and I help and assist small and medium farms in this region of Brazil, which is called São Paulo Water region, in Portuguese, Circuito das Águas Paulista. It's a very traditional area with more than 100 years of coffee cultivation. So I help small farmers to improve the quality of the coffee, the yields, and I help them to start their own brand of coffee, like roasted and packet. So in that way, the farmer could sell like I don't know, like a Boa Esperança coffee farm roasted coffee, like the wine already do.
Nice. And so how did you get started and how did you even end up working with coffee farms? Was it something
Uh,
that you've been in always in?
kind of. My family is a very linked with the coffee fields. I'm the fourth generation of in the coffee fields. My great parent came from Italy in 1890s and uh, on the Santos Harbor, which is well known worldwide for is the place where almost all the coffee in Brazil it's shipped to other another countries. So he just get in Brazil in the Santos Harbor,
Mm.
take a truck and come to this area. So his son and his grandson and then until me, it's in the coffee field. So I almost born how can I say born
Yeah.
under that coffee tree.
Very nice. And so like a lot of people, someone just asked if you're a branding co company for coffee. You're more like you work with farmers and you said you work with like small and medium farmers.
Yeah.
How do you help them or how do you work with them?
Um, I believe that coffee it's a whole system is kind of an integrated stuff. So since I started to work in the fields, I saw that farmers and roasters or baristas or even customers do not have a good link together. They do not understand together well. So this point, want high quality coffee with some how can I say flavors or something like that. But the producer don't know how exactly to do that, and they do not uh, uh, talk to each other well. So when I start to work with farmers, I in the agronomics fields, I go and learn how to cup, how to do the barista stuff, how to roast. So in that way, I could guide the farmers to deliver the beans that the customers want.
Mm,
Not like now. Usually farmers It's like a shot in the dark. They don't know exactly if the coffee will be good for the market or not. So I help them to do this kind of link between
Yeah,
all the parts of the coffee chain.
nice. And do you find that a lot of farmers don't know anything about, do they drink a lot of coffee themselves? Would they drink a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
specialty?
yeah. No, specialty is a kind of new trend in Brazil. It's not
Yeah.
like Japan or USA or Europe. It's something about I think 10 years the specialty coffee grow in Brazil because we are a big uh, coffee customer. Brazil is a Brazilian drinks about I think is the second biggest drinker in quantity. First is US and second is Brazil.
Whoa.
So, but we do not have a culture of drink specialty coffee for a long time, but the market is growing. Now, I think is about 15 or 20% of the coffee in Brazil have a high quality,
Wow.
and that's good because we are a huge producer. We produce like this year the forecast is 60 million bags. It's I think 4 times more than Colombia. So 15 and 20% is a lot of coffee.
Yeah, it really is.
So so now coffee farmers are drinking specialty coffee. They are understanding better what is a specialty because there is some kind of problem. The farmer don't know exactly what the specialty means. So with my farmers, I try to explain to them, teach them how to use the SCA protocol and how it works, and the way that the farmer know what kind of coffee beans the farms have and what price he could sell these beans.
Mm. And actually, someone just asked an interesting question there. What is specialty coffee? I guess for like people in like maybe barista or roasters, we would be go by SCA standards of like 80 plus on the SCA score. Like for
Yeah,
you, what would that be? What would your like specialty coffee be?
I think for me the standard for Sky is good because we have a point that is easy to understand. But for me, specialty is a coffee have something that make it special. For
Mm,
example, if you have a coffee from, I don't know, just woman work in the farm, or you have some kind of certification if the coffee is organic, or have some kind of uh, treat well the nature or something like that. For me, the coffee is specialty because have something beyond the coffee for itself. So I think if the coffee have something special in the history or a very antique area. For example, in Brazil, there are a place in Minas Gerais
mm,
with they harvest uh, area with the trees having more than 100 years old. So that makes the coffee specialty because it's not easy to find a place with trees with this age. So for me is that I understand the concept of specialty in that line.
mm. And like, as in, is it coffee in that way would be like wine when you have vineyards that have trees that or vines that are old, like very, very old. Can that affect the outcome of the coffee as well?
Yeah, the problem is the coffee is not really a tree. The
Mm,
coffee is a bush. So it's not made to live that long. So it's really hard to keep a coffee tree for 100 years. Just some varieties. I work with one species of coffee. My skills is from coffee arabica, but there
Mm.
is the coffee canephora, with is robusta, known as robusta too. So the coffee arabica, most of the varieties like bourbon or geisha or pacamara, they do not live so long. About 30 years, the coffee starts to, how can I say, slowly dying. And
Okay.
so usually the coffee don't last too long. Some varieties, very few, have the word is longevity of
Mm.
100 years, like that which is cultivated in the Minas Gerais area that I told you. The variety is Mundo Novo. This
Yeah.
variety could last a long time, but for usual, it's very hard to have so long uh, uh, age varieties or trees.
Mm. And are you at the moment, because I guess everywhere else at the moment where everyone's sort of, a lot of the coffee shops are shut down, a lot of the roasteries are shut down and starting to reopen. Are you still very busy?
Yeah, because I stop at work for about 2 months to see what I will do and talk with the farmers with I assist what they think is best for them first, because coffee is not like a shop or industry. The coffee field, the trees, the plants don't care if you not can go there. You cannot just close the door and say, "Hey, okay, stay
Stay
for one
inside.
month, don't grow, don't get sick or something like that." So the coffee field is 24 hours, 7 days a week. So I still go to the farmers once a month to check the farmers that I assist to check if the coffee is well. So well, we take precautions. So keep the distance, use masks, but in the coffee fields for itself, there's not problems of direct problems with price and market until now.
Mm.
We are just having some problems in some areas in Brazil to find pickers because we are starting the harvest season now. So some pickers cannot move from another region to the coffee areas. So this could be a problem. The harvest, which usually take about 3 months, could take more than 3 months, about five maybe, if you
Oh
don't
wow.
have enough people to pick the coffee in the right time. Because it's the same. The coffee don't care if you do not pick. The coffee go and ripe, and so you have to take it out of the field to make money. So farmers are worried about that, if they will find pickers to take the coffee out of the trees.
Yeah, because I think you just one of your articles just got published on Perfect Daily Grind about this. Yeah.
Yeah. I did one from Perfect Daily Grinding, one for Daily Coffee News from Roast Magazine. I think
Yeah.
that one is from about COVID and harvest.
Yeah. And are you, someone just asked a question, I guess, because we always think of coffee in the sense of like maybe after roast, but someone's asking for you when you're on farms, what makes the coffee expensive and others less expensive?
Okay, in terms of quality or costs?
I guess you could say we could ask both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the coffee, Brazil is a huge country, so we have dozens of coffee areas, coffee regions, and so it's like this region that I work. We don't have so many machines to
Mhm.
harvest the coffee to pick, so we use pickers to work here.
Yeah.
For example, this farm that I work now, is the biggest one that I work, and we have 300,000 coffee trees in this
Wow.
farm. And the farm have, I put some, no, write something down, 400 acres. It's almost half square mile of land. So it's a half the size of the Central Park with coffee.
Wow.
So we need about 40 pickers to come here in the harvest season and pick the coffee. So
Hmm.
that makes the beans very expensive because it's a lot of people to work. And during the year, we use 14 people to take care of the coffee with the management, the weed, the prune, the fertilization. So coffee from this area is more expensive than flat areas in Brazil. Like one is very known is called Cerrado,
Mm.
with the areas is very flat, so they could use machines to harvest the coffee. Just a curiosity, in Brazil, about 60 to 70% of the coffee is still owned by smallholders with less than 20 hectares. So we have a lot of farms which are not huge and use hand pickers. So
Wow.
that makes the coffee expensive. If the farmer want to work with like high quality specialty coffee, that is it's expensive too, because like Colombia, they have rain almost all the year. So in the same branch, they have green coffee, have unripened coffee, mature ripened coffee, flowers, and everything in the same branch. In Brazil, we have a very separate rain and dry season. So all the coffee almost ripe at once. So it's really hard to pick one by one, like in Colombia. That
Yeah.
makes more expensive. So if you want to do like high quality coffee in Brazil and pick beans, per beans is really expensive, about twice or three times the price. So let me show you a
You're
branch
sitting
I'm
right by
close
a
with.
cherry tree.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you see, we have like very unripened, very ripened,
Yeah.
some very done for picking, like this really red thing.
Yeah.
So in
And like,
Brazil, it's not easy to do the select berry per berry. So we try to do just small parts. That's why it's really hard to harvest like all the Brazilian um, coffee with high quality, like Colombia.
yeah.
So we do about, usually my farms, we have about 30 to 40% if works well, but we will have not specialty graded coffee. It's impossible to have 100% of specialty.
Yeah. And what kind of trees are around you or bushes are around you right now? What variety?
This is Catuai.
Get the Y. Yes.
Yeah,
My
the
favorite.
red Catuai. This area have, this farm have 9 varieties of coffee.
And like,
Catuai, Mundo Novo, the Acaia variety,
nice.
uh, Bourbon, and Icatu, and one is called Obatin. It's a lot of varieties here.
Nice. And can you plant them all together or do you like completely, have you got them to separate them from each other,
Yeah,
the crops?
we here in that farm and almost all farm, it's good to separate the varieties because each variety have a different characteristic of architecture or time that the variety is ready for picking. Some varieties are late varieties, some are medium. So even the quality of the cup is different from variety to variety. So the farm separates. Each area have a different variety.
Mm. And someone just asked, I think we've already answered the coffee bush one. Now that like harvest might take twice as long, do you think it's going to affect how the quality of the cup? Like, do you think it's going to affect how the coffee is going to taste?
Yeah, could affect if we have now during the harvest season in Brazil is really dry. We
Mm,
are getting into the what's called winter, but you know, in Brazil is never too cold, but it means that's really dry now. So if the coffee take more to be picked on the tree, and the dry season it's really dry, the quality will not be affected if the take a long time to take out the tree. But if the we have some rains sometimes because you know now the climate's crazy, so sometimes the we have a long time rains in the dry season,
mm,
so that maybe could affect the quality of the coffee because the water, the rain spoiled the quality of the coffee. It start to grow mold and things like that.
okay. And for you, like when you're working with a farmer, what do you recommend? Like, what process do you usually recommend them to use, or do you have them experiment a bit?
Yeah, we in Brazil is the natural is it's more common on the farm, so we do not have like washed coffee like in Colombia.
Hmm.
One, it's because first because the season is dry, so we don't need to take the peel out to dry the coffee. In Colombia, they have a lot of rain, so if the coffee stay natural, it's more hard to dry the coffee due to the humidity of the air.
Yeah.
So in Brazil, most of the farmers have the naturals, which I like more because I think the profile is very complex, very dense, and but the natural is uh, very hard to do a good quality coffee. It's not easy because the berry, the bean, have all the sugar inside the peel, so it's easy to ferment,
Mm.
which is not desirable fermentation, the kind of not desirable fermentation. So I usually some farmers of mine, about two now, are uh, pulping the coffee, but just a part, and but almost 70%, which the farmers that I work with naturals.
And like a lot of the farmers that come to you, would they be brand new farmers, or would they be kind of people who are coming from like a family lineage of like farmers, or is it like a mix of people that are coming to you?
We have here we have both, but most of the farmers are farm a lineage of farmers like me, fourth, fifth generation, and they because of the this area have this kind of profile of farmers,
Mm,
but we are not too far from the city of São Paulo, which is a huge city in Brazil. And many people from São Paulo, I think about 10 years ago, start to buy some farms here and start to grow coffee. So I have some clients that is really know how the coffee works in the field, how to do all the stuff. They just need something to put it together to produce a better coffee. And I have some farmers that have no skills with coffee. They just know coffee. It's something that comes inside your cup.
yeah.
So, but it's nice because there's new people that come here have a new view of coffee production, bring new ideas that could like they talk with each other with the old farmers, they exchange information, and they build a new way to grow coffee. So many people around the world are interested to know more about what they drink or eat came from, if it's sustainable or not. And sometimes old farmers don't understand well that relation with customers. And these new farmers know that is the way that coffee farmers could survive in this world of very aggressive, like stock market and things like that. So I
Yeah.
believe both are nice to make the coffee better. I believe that I, I I believe in the balance of the things. So I work with organic farmers and traditional farmers. So both could live together, both have the market. So have a space for everyone. If you do not, we do not beat each other and put all together to cooperate and grow a better coffee chain around the world, I think.
Yeah, nice. And I gotta say for myself, when I went to Sao Paulo, I was always amazed by like how actually all the baristas, all the roasters, and all the farmers seem to know each other. Because I saw it like an AeroPress competition. There was farmers who'd brought their own coffee and were competing with it. And like that was like the best thing about Sao Paulo that I saw, I think, was like that's so cool. That's how Sao Paulo does their coffee, is that and like on even on that question, do you find that like a lot of the baristas in Sao Paulo and the roasters in Sao Paulo, they know um the local farmers as well?
Yes, I think most of the roasters and baristas want to buy really fresh coffee. This is an advantage if you are a roaster or a barista in a country like Brazil or Colombia, because we could go the roaster and the barista could go to the farmer and see if the coffee it fits well for its purpose. And it's nice to see. I have some farmers that have like um, do direct trade with these roasters. They
Wow.
come every year to the farm and pay a fair price for that, because usually the stock market, the EC, the price from New York is not very good to pay all the expenses of the farmer. But when we have this relation of direct trade, it's good because they create a bond with each other. They trust each other. So, um, and the barista or the roaster could offer a coffee that the barista and the roasters know where it came from. It's sustainable. It's helping a family and things like that. I think it's really good. That.
Yeah, for sure. And just a question just someone asked here. What's the best weather for coffee growth? I guess you could say weather and altitude. Oh yeah, show us the farm by the way.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
It's
Are these
just a little part of the farm. We have a natural rainforest here in the
whoa.
farm. In the middle of the farm, we have about 20% of natural rainforest that's been here forever. And I changed it too because the sunlight is moving too.
Oh no. You're back. Nice.
Sorry,
Uh,
can you ask the question again?
Someone just asked what's the best weather for coffee growth? I guess it would be like weather and height, I would include with it.
The best weather. I think we the coffee we have some. It's more about rain, the water that we need, and the temperature. So the arabicas which is grown in high altitudes. It's like mild weather.
Hmm.
They do not nothing too cold. I know the temperatures in Celsius. I forget to do the thing and Fahrenheit. Sorry. In Celsius is about 10 degrees Celsius is the bottom, and the highest.
I think he cut out for a little bit. Oh no. I think he's cut out. Oh no. Did you cut out? I think you cut out there for a little bit. Sorry. We're gonna have to ask
The-
you again.
okay, so yeah. Oh, thank you. Someone do the conversion over here.
Yeah,
So
please.
so that 10 degrees bottom, third 4 degrees the top temperature that coffee could works well. That's why probably some people on the live know that California have some experiments in planting coffee in the continental USA. And during the winter time, they have to put like covers to the coffee so the trees do not freeze. Here
Mm.
in Brazil usually we have a mild temperature. Not The coffee supports near 2 degrees Celsius for a short time and do not die. And but we usually the temperature have to be that kind of mild.
So the question of like you always talk about farming and Brazilian coffee, but what's your favorite type of coffee to drink? Espresso or pour over or something like that? Oh no, he's gone.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I think pour over is the best kind of coffee that I've been liking now. But I like to try every day. I try a different way to do my coffee. So I do the the Turkish coffee, the siphon, the uh, uh, the traditional pour-over coffee, espresso, and the Italian, the mocha, the French press. I always try sometimes the same coffee in a different way. Usually with my farmers, I do that to see if the coffee that they produce works better in some kind of ways to do coffee. Some kind they do not work well. So the farmers could offer the coffee that fits better to what kind of propose the roaster or the barista wants.
Mm. And the farmers you're working with, are you introducing them to a lot of different methods of drinking coffee as well?
Yeah. I usually do that. So it's good like I told you, I like to show the farmers that outside the farm gate, there are a whole world to be explored, that they need to go out and see if they could like participate to these competitions or fairs or symposiums to see what outside of the gates, so they could produce a coffee that fits better to the this new world of coffee that people are really want to buy. Something I think now I see coffee with a new trend too,
Mm.
uh, because I just was talking about that with a farmer another day, and he told me that customers want to drink high quality coffee, but they want to know that in a simple way. With a specialty coffee, we buy a bag of coffee and there are 1,000 of information there,
Mm.
and customers sometimes are confused with these all things that maybe just a small group understand what is catuai, what is natural, what is farm like that, what is I don't know, rainforest label or certification. So I think we should build something new for the coffee now. Like people want to drink high quality coffee or just a good coffee that they understand that is good without a lot of stuff in the package. I went to the grocery once. I take a nice pack of coffee. There's a lot of information there, and there is no line that says coffee. So they
Really?
put a lot of stuff like Katuai variety, 1,000 meters, high density, and and in a no line said it's coffee. So that I think it's a challenge to do make the customers understand that what is beyond without put so much stuff inside the package of coffee.
Mm. Yeah, because I guess it would be when it's a package of coffee, it's a mix of like design and
Mm-hmm.
information, and
Mm-hmm.
then design and information pretty much is what people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
asking for. But then you might like get so into one of them that you miss the other. And
Yeah.
I know in Brazil, there's the rule that you can't bring in uh, like raw coffee, like coffee beans from other countries. You can't bring in grain from other countries, and you can only roast Brazilian coffee. Is that correct?
Yeah, the because we have a factory from how the company Nestlé
Mm,
built a factory with the coffee pods here in Brazil about 3 years ago, and they have like a special how can I say authorization
mm-hmm.
to bring some raw coffee from outside of Brazil because the law, you write it, you cannot bring raw coffee to roast here. There is just if you do a thing that's called drawback.
Okay.
So the Nestle get this license, so they could bring green coffee to roasting that factory, but have a lot of bureaucracy to do that. If you are
Mm,
like a small roasters in Brazil, you can't do that. You just or you roast the coffee outside of Brazil, like some friends I know roast the coffee outside of Brazil, bring to Brazil, make the blend or the single origin and sell it. But you're right.
yeah. No, because remember, like my next question was going to be that I know that I didn't know that about Nestle, but I know that everyone kind of you can only roast what's from the country.
Yeah,
And do you?
it's an old law. I think it's from 80s. I don't like too much. I think
Yeah.
that's make the roasters in Brazil have so we have a lot of good coffee here. I know that because we have different regions and so far apart one for each other. So the quality of each region is very different. So we could use like national origins to build a very nice blend.
Mm,
So if you think to be more competitive in the industrialized coffee like Germany, for example, Brazil should allow green coffee to come, and the companies could come here and roast the coffee here and to have so bring more jobs instead of just ship green coffee to Germany or anywhere else and roast the coffee there. So almost of the coffee in Brazil is shipped raw, not
Yeah.
roasted. I think just about, I don't remember the number exactly, but I think it's about 5% is roasted or soluble or in pods or something like that.
And have you, when speaking with farmers at the moment, have you noticed them saying anything about how customers have been asking for different things, maybe during lockdown? Like, has there been any trends that have happened of people asking for certain things?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Like, so during like lockdown, have you seen that farmers have been asked different things, or they're asking you different things at the moment?
Because of the lockdowns?
Mm,
Oh, okay. No, about that, we just have some lockdowns in the north of Brazil, and in the São Paulo state, that the things are not good now.
mm,
The COVID are growing, but they are more worried about the São Paulo city, like could happen the same that happens in London and New York. In the countryside, like here, the city have 25,000 people living here, so it's not a huge city. We have just a few cases, so about, I think here in this city about 5 cases
okay.
since the beginning. So the farmer are not still not too worried about about the lockdowns and stuff until now. We don't know the future, uh, but all the storage and things are closed, so we do not have so many people walking around. We are the small cities are having low rates of people with COVID, so farmers are not too worried now.
Yeah. And as someone from who's kind of working more with producers and kind of the early chain of coffee, how do you think this kind of worldwide lockdown is going to affect the coffee industry at the moment?
Yeah, this is I don't know if the problem for me is that now in Brazil we will harvest a huge um, uh, we will have a nice season with 60 million bags, but we need all that all the coffee chain works well for that.
Mm,
Like I write in the Daily Coffee News, we have problems. Maybe it will be hard to the coffee to go out of the farm until the harbor, and we don't know if in the harbor there are enough people working to ship the coffee from United States or Europe or Japan. So maybe it's just a theory of mine that we have this coffee stuck for a long time in the farms or in some warehouse, until the coffee could reach the final destination. That could maybe bring something unusual for the coffee industry, that we have the the raw material here. The price is not bad now; it's okay,
mm,
and but we cannot move the batches to another countries, and maybe could drive some countries with lack of raw material in the medium term. That's it's something that some big roasters forecast, and a few months ago some players buy a lot of coffee to guarantee their stocks for the next months.
wow.
It's I think it's the main problem now for me is that problem with logistics with the coffee when all the season will be harvested
Mm,
in Brazil.
wow. Okay. So someone just did ask, I know you answered this question earlier on, but what varieties are being grown around you?
Oh, like here?
Hmm. Or what
Okay.
varieties do you usually work with?
Uh, Brazil have more than hundred varieties. So the most popular is Catuai. It's about now I think it's about 60 to 70% of the whole coffee area in Brazil. It was very popular because it's have high yields and it's short. It's not tall,
Mm,
and the quality of the beans are very good, and producers are comfortable with the Catuai. Even it's an old variety, and people start to change to new varieties which have resistance to disease and plagues, and that's good because if the variety is natural resistant for some kind of problem, you don't need to use any kind of agrochemical to
yeah,
treat it. Like you see, that's leaf.
that's
We
leaf
have this
rust.
is yeah no this is the leaf miner.
Okay.
It's a really tiny butterfly that put eggs here, and how can I say the worm
Oh, the
eats
caterpillar.
the yeah
Yeah.
eats the leaf from inside. So
Ah.
there in Brazil there are varieties that is resistance to this disease, or for example the leaf rust, which is a huge problem in some countries like El Salvador, Colombia, Costa Rica, which they still have old varieties with no resistance. In Colombia, they do a very well project. They are changing the old variety, which is known as Caturra, and they're planting a new variety. It's called Castillo or Sene Café 1, which is resistant to coffee leaf rust and make the coffee field more productive with better yields, and the producer don't need to use a lot of chemicals to avoid this disease. So it's good to renew too.
Mm. So someone was just asking if you could pick a like a berry off the tree and then
Okay,
like maybe show us the inside.
okay.
This is like they're super red. I know they
Yeah,
like all come in different colors. This one's super red.
yeah. We usually in Brazil mainly is we have red and yellow color, but is there is a kind of orange color too in some varieties, but it's really rare. It's not usual to see. Inside the berry, this is a fruit.
Mm.
So we have sugar and seeds. But instead of eating the pulp, we drink
You
the
drink the
seeds.
seed.
Yeah, it's weird.
If we did
But
this with cherries, it would be so odd.
yeah, but the cherry is really sweet, really sweet. It's more sweeter than an apple, like Red Delicious. It's a variety of apple which is very sweet, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So it's even sweeter than Red Delicious. So we have the both seeds over here. Let me see.
Mm.
Oh, oops. Really very slippery,
Yeah.
and all the poopy it's around, and the another one is here.
Yeah. Oh, crazy. Nice.
And you could chew. Inside is very sweet.
Yeah. And like, do you think that the flavor of the cherry corresponds to the flavor of the coffee later on?
Not at all. It's
Not at all.
just sometimes in naturals you could feel that really like raising flavor, very sweet and something like which is very ripe. You know, it's sometimes in naturals and washed coffee is not too much.
Hmm.
But if someone wants to try, I know in the United States, yeah, you could buy the cascara, which is the dried uh, peel.
Coffee cherry, yeah.
yeah, which is very kind of similar, but the fresh flavor of the cherry is more like a melon,
Mm.
kind of a little bit more sweet, like cantaloupe melon.
Oh, nice. So we have only about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to ask,
Okay.
see. So what would be the size of the harvest are you expecting this year? I guess from even the farm you're on right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I need some.
You got your notes.
Yeah. This year we will harvest about 2,200 bags of coffee. Each bag have 132 pounds about.
Wow.
So we will harvest of raw coffee 300,000 pounds of green coffee.
Wow.
If you roast that coffee, it's about 15 million cups of coffee in just one farm.
Oh God.
If a lot of coffee, I can't drink at all, everything at once.
Yeah, no.
If we use the average of U.S. Coffee consumption per year, it's enough to 25,000 people in US to drink coffee for a whole year.
Why not?
Yeah, a lot
Perfect.
of coffee.
And just
Or
because,
just one people very addicted to coffee.
yeah, just like one European maybe.
Yeah.
Just because we have 5 minutes left, is there anything you would
Okay.
else you would like to like talk about or share, like upcoming projects you're going to be doing?
Okay. Uh, for the customers or the roasters or the baristas that are watching now, make sure, I think it's important to know if your brand or your barista or your roaster support some kind of coffee farmer or some association, and that farmer or that association is sustainable. They do the right agricultural practice to produce the coffee, and your brand or something, or your brand pay the fair price to the farmer, because the coffee farmer in Brazil, I think in the world, treats the coffee like it's own kids. You can't say not bad about the trees on the coffee farmer, the farm, to the farmer, because they really like what they do. So if you could buy a direct trade and sustainable coffee, it will be great for the farmer to keep this farm think working.
Nice. Great. Thank you so much for joining us for
Thank
the
you.
hour. I'm sure you have like a busy day ahead of you now. Yeah,
Kind
so
of.
if I will say if anyone would like to see this IG live again, we're going to be putting it up on our Instagram IG lives. So if there's
Cool.
any questions you answer, they can go back and they can
Okay.
also find your Instagram.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Feel free. You could send. I like to read questions. I have accounts on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. I like to answer questions. If people want to know more, because the information is good to build a very solid coffee chain. So feel free to send me message, email, or ask by Instagram or whatever.
nice. Okay, great. Thank you so much again, and have a
Thank you
safe
too.
day and good day. Okay,
You
see you
too. Bye
later.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.